Tonight on James Talk Africa, I sit down with the Cassidys, Carol and Michael, the founder of African Enterprise, an evangelist, as well as a renowned Christian statesman in South Africa. And we discuss their love journey of over 50 years of ministry and marriage in a very busy global evangelistic ministry, and the raising of their three children who are all serving the Lord today. They share with me openly the joy as well as the challenge of growing their intimacy in the midst of a very demanding calling. Tonight on James Talk Africa.
From Cape Town to Cairo and from Mogadishu to Dakar, this is James Talk Africa. Here's your host, Chim Onyibilanma.
Welcome, the viewers, to this segment of your show. Like I said in the intro, my guests today are Michael and Carol Cassidy. Michael, from our last time he was here, you know him to be the founder of African Enterprise, the evangelistic movement that works all across Africa, and also a Christian statesman. But we're not just talking about Michael today. We have the pleasure of having Carol Cassidy, his wife, with us. Carol, you're welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you, Michael and Carol, for having us. I would say Carol is the powerhouse behind all of the things we talk about, Michael.
No argument.
Now, you two have been married now 50 years. For me, that in itself is a testimony. In these days when we hear of all kinds of things, a godly marriage for 50 years. Carol, how did this man capture you? How did you meet?
Michael was doing a mission at Cape Town University, and I was teaching in Cape Town. But one of the people on the team at the last minute was unable to take part because she got malaria. So they asked me, the person in charge asked me if I would come on the team, as well as my teaching. And Michael always says that's a sovereign mosquito. So that was the reason why we got together. And
Sovereign mosquito bite, how about that?
A sovereign mosquito bite. God works in marvelous, miraculous ways.
Yeah.
And it's been 50 years now, and it's been a very busy 50 years. Tell me, Carol, how is it? How have you been able to cope with the busyness of the kind of life you signed up to?
You have to be called to this. If you're not called to this work, it's too hard. It's not easy. And it's difficult because we weren't able to do things together like most people can. It has an element of sacrifice, but if you're called to it, it's not a problem. And you have to sometimes develop your own life. I had a ministry that I developed, and not a very formal ministry. And then, of course, I was looking after the children, and at one stage I had to go and teach to help educate the children. So it was very busy. It wasn't easy. I don't try and minimize the difficulties. And it does mean that we had to learn to understand each other. When he was tired, I couldn't demand things from him. And there's a lot of unselfishness in marriage that has to be exercised. Just accommodating to the schedule, to each other's needs. There's work that has to be done in a marriage, and when you've got a lot of demands on it, even more work.
Yeah.
I don't know that we always did it right, but we tried.
You must have done something right to be loving yourself the way I've watched you in the few hours I've been here.
But it's different, some women go and do everything with their husbands. I had to do a lot on my own and I had to take over a lot of the work that Michael and most men usually do.
And by the way, I talked about this the last time. A lot of stuff that I know about you comes from reading your fine book, which is Michael Cassidys' autobiography, Footprints in the African Sand, His Life, My Life and Times. Now, of course, a lot of it talks about his ministry and all that, but there's a whole segment that talks about the family and where candidly you explain what you felt was your strengths and where you felt you didn't do it well, and I thought it was very honest and right. But I saw that you focused on giving quality times to family times, the holidays, the time with each child. There was a deliberate strategy in that, wasn't there?
Yes, that was a deliberate strategy, and I concluded that, and I'd heard that once people are over 40, and that's what I did, 2 holidays a year. So I took a reasonable break in July and then a longer break in December, January.
With the whole family?
Yeah, with the whole family. And then Carol and I were careful about getting weekend times together. We would go away to farms or we would have quiet weekends here. That was all very important. And keeping the Sabbath principle. Trying to keep the Sunday a special day, or if I was preaching, there would be one other day to take off and to give each other time. Maybe we should have given each other more time. When one looks back, it's hard to weigh it up. But we were conscientious. We didn't just let it all roll over us. We tried to resist where we were getting it wrong, and then work over it to try and get it right.
And for me, as I look at the story, I would say, and you're free to say if this is correct or not, but the fact that Carol felt right from the beginning that this was her call, there was a joy aspect of it which must have ministered to the children, because if she's doing what she's doing grumbling, even if it's not outwardly, they would know. You know what I mean? Children have a way of reading the atmosphere, and for her to joyously let you go and joyously have you back, and it creates an atmosphere where everybody in the house feels we're doing a great thing for God. And what do you think, you or her, anyone who wants to comment on that?
Well, one of my worries was that the children would be angry with God because he took his father. He took their father away. And I didn't want this to happen. So in no way would I show resentment. There would be times when it was hard. And I didn't believe in self-pity. I thought there's always someone worse off than you. So avoid any pity parties. And we just had to work at not harboring resentments or anything like that.
And that for me is a testimony to the fact that today all your children are following the Lord, and they're walking with the Lord, and that shows, what you put into them, because unfortunately many times preacher kids, they find it difficult to stay in the church. What would you say, and I know it's come out in our conversation, what would you say is the secret of your marriage? 50 years, half a century, what would you say are the, if you want to say 1, 2, 3, I will start with Carol, then I'll come to you.
Well, we know where we are in the marriage. Michael's got his work, and I know what I've got to do. And I don't have expectations from him, as I probably did when we were first married, because our marriage is very different from my parents' marriage. My father had set roles, which I've now had to take over, do roles that a lot of men do, and a lot of husbands do, but then when there's no husband there, you have to do them. So you just get on with it, and we enjoy it when we get back. It's difficult to make all the decisions when you separate, and separation's not easy. There's loneliness, there's the burden of things breaking down, and just coping with the demands of the children and the discipline of the children. I was saying recently, you know, that I had to be the disciplinarian a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And I was the ogre in the family. And Michael was the darling when he came home.
Yeah.
But I didn't mind, because I wanted him not to have to cope with too much of that, because he saw the children so infrequently, really. Yeah.
So it now put the weight of that on you. So, Michael, when you look back, what would you say are the secrets of what? I use the word secret. You know the way we use secret. It's just to say, where do you see, if you look and say, this is where I feel, the points where I feel God, the things He taught us that helped us to come this far.
Well, I think the three secrets of our marriage were: number one, Carol; number two, Carol; number three, Carol.
I'm sure anybody watching now would have figured that out.
Because by the Lord's incredible grace, I found myself married to an incredible woman.
Wow.
Carol is a most unusual person because she's got a very steadfast character. She's just one of the most solid and pure and godly and amazing women I've ever met. And she has a very deep devotional life, very, very faithful with her devotions, which she kept going so strongly and always has, to give her an underlying spirituality that could be the kind of a spiritual and emotional engine room, you know, to our marriage.
Wow.
I think the other secret is that we knew we were irrevocably committed to each other. There was no way out. We had taken vows, and that said that we were in this till death us do part. And for whatever circumstances, whether we're rich or poor, and sickness or health, whatever, we were in this for the long haul until the Lord separated us by death. And I think commitment is a very important thing.
Yeah.
And I think one has to try to say to many young people nowadays, you know, build your commitments, make your commitments solid. You know, I think a lot of young people nowadays, they have difficulty with a marital commitment, they have difficulty with a job commitment, they have difficulty with a commitment to friends.
We basically live in a generation that doesn't like commitment.
Yeah, a generation that doesn't go for commitment.
And covenants.
And covenant. And it seems to me that we had that. We had that strong in our relationship. That meant a great deal. I think we were surrounded and blessed by a very wonderful family. Not only our own children, but each of our siblings, sisters and brothers. So there's a strong extended family network that surrounds one, and I'm a great believer in that.
Yeah, support base.
Yeah, support base. Children aren't just supported by the nuclear family of mom and dad, but there are uncles and aunts, and there are cousins, and
the African extended family.
Exactly, and that has, I think, been very important for us. in our marriage, and one of the real secrets that we were just bonded by so many other relationships all around us, and again, for virtually the most part, all strong marriages around us.
Wow,
Yes.
good examples.
Yeah.
I think what you touched on there is so important in our day, because when you look at the rate of divorce, many times it's linked to the issue of just the misunderstanding of what commitment is.
Yeah.
Hi there, thanks for watching this video. I want you to do 4 things before you go away. Number 1, click on the subscribe button here, and then number 2, click on the bell button. That will allow you to get an alert every time we post a new video, and we're posting new videos, edifying interviews and edifying words every week. Number 3, please leave a comment on that. Let us know what you think, whether good or bad. And lastly, share this channel with your friends. Let them know that something is happening here. Thank you for joining us. Keep coming back.